Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe, and I am a weapon of mass instruction. And and I feel free. I feel free right now. I don't feel like a slave. For the moment, at least, I am no longer a firearms instructor. Long story short, disagreement with the company policy, and I took my leave. No shit. I don't know about anybody else out there, but you ever get that moment right before you make a huge life-altering decision where it doesn't, the normal paradigm of what you're supposed to feel doesn't apply. I felt this amazing adrenaline rush, like I have no idea what tomorrow's going to hold the next day. Literally, my whole life is now an open book. An empty page waiting for me to write in a story. I didn't feel bad about it. In fact, I was going to cry out of joy, of all things. Like, this may have been the first time since I joined the Marine Corps that I've made a life-altering decision on my own for myself. Well, getting married wasn't, it was premature, but I think I did it for the right reasons. I was in love, and I wanted to be the best I could be for her, but at the time I didn't know how. Now, things have changed so much. I'm technically unemployed. Probably not a good thing. I'd say definitely not a good thing, the way the economy is. The way they're lying to us about the unemployment rate, that tells us about what kind of jobs are available, or how many jobs are available. Even after I collect my final paycheck on Sunday, I'm barely going to have enough to scrape together bills. I won't even be able to pay my rent, but I don't know why I feel so good. I don't know. It's amazing. I'm not saying go out and, quit your job, because if you're happy with your job, that's not the right thing to do. I was happy with teaching people that wanted to learn, and like yesterday it kind of hit me. You see, the thing was, at the range where I was working, somebody at the range had a negligent discharge a while back, and he almost shot himself in the leg. Almost blew his kneecap off, pretty much, The bullet struck his, the cord for his iPod in his cargo pocket went through the floorboard of his truck. And as far as we know, impact in the dirt, didn't go anywhere. But it could have been really, really bad. And I agree. So the boss changed the company policy. And from that day forward, nobody was allowed to carry loaded. No bullets in the magazine, no rounds in the magazine, no round in the chamber. If you're Act 235 qualified, he allowed you to carry a loaded magazine, but no round in the chamber. Out of all of us, out of all 20 people on the range, 10 of whom carry, about, that left literally, I think, one, maybe two people that were Act 235 qualified that could have ammo in the gun. I'll be frank. Up until yesterday, as much as I could, I stayed loaded. You know, and I got plenty of warnings. I got plenty of warnings from my manager telling me to unload, checking my gun every now and then. But yesterday, basically, the shit hit the fan because somebody saw a loaded chamber indicator on my buddy's gun, after he had that, the same guy who had the negligent discharge. Now, something like that happens to you, if you're lucky enough where everybody lives and nobody gets hurt, it does something. It changes the way you think and the way you feel and the way you act around guns. So for some people, that's the only way they learn, unfortunately. For this guy, it happened to him, and now he's a whole lot safer. He's probably the safest one out of all of us now when it comes to firearms. I trusted him. I trusted him to carry. I trusted the 5 of us that got busted carrying loaded. I trusted all 5 of them to carry and do what is right, which is not draw unless forced to, because of lethal force being presented to you. And not just some stupid customer turning the gun. But like, we got a surprise inspection. I was forced to unload. And then I spent the rest of the day dealing with all these people that brought their own guns in, but didn't seem to give a shit about weapon safety. So all day long, I told them whenever they came in the door and they came out to the range, before they got a chance to set up their guns even, I told them, I was like, from this moment forward, I have a zero tolerance policy on unsafe muzzle direction. If I see you turn your gun, whether it's loaded, whether it's unloaded, whether you're pulling it out of the case, putting it in the case, fixing a jam, I don't care what you're doing with it. If your hand is on the gun and it's facing in an unsafe direction, hell, if it's facing in an unsafe direction, even if your hand isn't on the gun, I'm going to remove you from the line, forcibly if necessary. Nothing personal, just business, making sure everybody stays safe. I told that to every customer that walked in the door. I had zero problems all day long. Stupid people all day long. Zero problems. Because they understood, like, that for a lot of them, that was the one thing. Like, they didn't want to get removed from the line. They didn't want to get declared a safety violator and lose all the money that they paid to get in. They didn't want that at all. So they were safe. It was the only thing keeping them safe. But the whole time I was doing it, I had no ammo in my gun. It was a fancy fucking paperweight is what it was. So if somebody got froggy and pulled some shit on me, what the fuck was I going to do? And so last night, my boss pulled the 5 of us and he used one person as an example because she carried unloaded the way she was supposed to and didn't get fucked for it. And I got docked 2 days. So now, like, I was in for a 4-day weekend, and I got a write-up sheet, and there was a comment box on the write-up sheet. And after all was said and done, basically what it came down to is the only person carrying loaded on the range is going to be the owner. That's it. And by his own words, he said, if anybody's going to be killing anybody in this range, it's going to be me. Good to go? Awesome. So I wrote on my description box, my comments box, it's never a question of if it happens, it's a question of when it happens. So, will you be there to defend me when somebody draws on me? That's what I wrote. I signed it. End of story. Not quite. So my boss wrote a little note back in the comments box. The comments box. And it was basically a little line for me to sign. And he wrote, I agree that if I feel unsafe working in these conditions, I am free to leave at any time. Little blank for my signature. My manager showed it to me this morning. I signed it. And I walked out. Because frankly, ever since that day, I've been feeling less and less safe at the range. Because I know that it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. It always is. given a long enough timeline, everybody's life expectancy drops to 0. Question of when. It's not a question of if the U.S. government is going to declare martial law and disarm everybody, or attempt to, and try to remove us to the FEMA camps. It's a question of when. When is the U.S. government going to do this? When are we going to see the last veneer of our freedom get ripped from our faces? Maybe I'm just fucking going nuts. But I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of being told that my legal right was null and void because of where I worked. I was sick and tired of being told that me carrying was a danger to everybody around me. Really? Really? Welcome to fucking Pennsylvania, asshole. Everybody and their motherfucking grandma carries here. And our crime rate is ridiculously low. People simply don't get shot because most people understand that chances are if you fuck with somebody, they're packing. Simple as that. The one thing that keeps people safe, knowing, the bad guys knowing that they suffer a very real chance of getting shot and killed if they attempt to pull something crazy, like armed robbery, or rape, or murder, or assault with a deadly weapon. Anything. And that's statewide. It's not even just police. It's not even just security people. It's any law-abiding citizen can carry openly. No license required. Except anything that identifies you as who you are. That's the only thing. You got to have some sort of identifier with you if you're open carrying. If that way, if something happens, they know that you're legally allowed to carry and you're not breaking the law. Concealed carry permit, very easy to get. They do a background check. If you pass, awesome. You get to carry concealed. Fuck. And what that means for us is that literally anybody could walk into the range concealed carrying and not tell us about it. I've had multiple times when I'm either on the private section or the rental section, and I have a customer who I notice has a suspicious bulge under his shirt, and I say, "Sir, are you carrying a pistol under there?" And if he says yes, I say, "Okay, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and unload it on the table." Yeah, I'll be honest, I was breaking the fucking rule. But you know what? I wasn't a customer. I was a fucking instructor. At least, and I give my manager credit for this, he's stuck in the middle. When he told me that it hurts him every time we get pissed off and hate him for the shit he has to do to us because of what the boss says, I believe him. I didn't see any hint of a lie. Either he's a really good liar or he's telling the truth, which I think he was telling the truth. I believe him. I've known him since I started working there. He was a good guy. He believes in pretty much exactly the same thing I do when it comes to weapon safety and all that. But ultimately, his loyalty lies with the boss and not to us. Not his fault. He's stuck in a sticky situation. So, we can get pissed at him all day if we want to, but all of us knew who was putting the policy in place, and he was stuck enforcing it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going nuts. But I refuse to sacrifice my Second Amendment right for anything. Simple fact of the matter was, it wasn't even for professional safety. It was, that definitely played a role. If one of the other instructors got drawn on, like, intentionally, not somebody just being, like, fucking legitimately, like, fucking drawn down on somebody saying, "Hey, give me your key. Give me your washer, I'm taking a gun." Like something like that. Fuck. So that's my rant for the day. On the side, I also want to apologize to everybody for not getting on sooner with anything of substance. I'm going to try to get on at least every other day if possible, but I think for the near future, it's going to be an everyday thing. And if you're watching this far, thank you. I'm going to try to get an AdSense account. I'm sorry about that. I know that you guys don't really want to watch the ads. And I probably don't even have enough views to actually make it worthwhile, but yeah. If I'm taking a little bit of money from the big corporation, legitimately, legally, and putting it in my own pocket while the currency still lasts, good. Good. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to apply for an AdSense account, and I'm letting you guys know beforehand because you guys are my friends. I care about y'all, and I know most of us don't have that, and most of us don't do that simply because it's a matter of courtesy, and I apologize, but I think that's something I got to do in order to, try to keep going. I'm running on a lot of time now, and at this point I'm just going to cut it short. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my rant. Comments, questions, concerns, all welcome. God knows I got plenty of time on my hands now to answer. Y'all stay safe. Be ready. Peace.